Piaget outlined 4 broad stages, each with a qualitatively different way of thinking. So you can think of it like this. At each stage, the child gets this new way of seeing the world that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities for them. In the sensory motor stage, from birth to 2 years, a child uses his senses and movements, motor skills, to explore the world. One of the things that happens during this stage is object permanence. Children are born without the ability to comprehend the idea that when you can't see something, it still exists. By the end of the stage, they understand that just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it no longer exists in the world. So they comprehend object permanence. In the pre-operational stage, the new thinking tool that's handed to them is the ability to use symbols in thinking. This appears, for example, in language, which is a symbol system, also in their ability to engage in pretend play and use their imaginations. But there's limitation here in that they don't necessarily think in the same way as adults or children in later stages do in terms of how they reason about the world. So a child in this stage, for example, might say, well, if I have one pizza here, one whole pizza, and I cut that pizza up into 8 different pieces, I now have more pieces. I now have more pizza because 1 compared to 8 is more than 1. So it's surprising, but this is really how children in this stage will reason about, well, this is more than that because there's more pieces. They won't necessarily compare the two. In the concrete operational stage, when they hit around 7, they no longer do this. They're no longer fooled by this idea of dividing things up. If you take a pizza or a candy bar, no matter how many pieces you cut it up into, you still have the same amount. Their limitation now is in the ability to apply this sort of reasoning to abstract or hypothetical thought. And that comes in the stage of formal operations from 11 on. In the next 4 slides, you'll see videos that give you a little sample of each of these stages and some of the things that happen. We'll be getting more into these stages in later chapters of the book.